What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, this is TWA Motorsports, and today we are doing some cosmetic upgrades to the daily driver. Now, I've had these for a little while now, but it's taken me a little while to get some time to put them on, and so today we're going to do that. And the reason why, guys, is I want to do it a certain way. So let's take a look at what we've got, what we're going to be doing. I've got all of the door handles and mirror caps painted to match the truck. I had my painter that has the bed of my OBS. I took these two and I was like, hey, is there any way you can squeeze these in? He said, yeah. So obviously we've got all new painted door handles, right? We got a painted tailgate handle, bezel, and then mirror caps. Well, the mirror caps are interchangeable on these. So this is a basic power mirror that you just literally pop this cap off here and put the new cap on, and we could do that. But I also had these laying around from an old project, and these are power mirrors. And power mirrors with the turn signals, and power mirrors with the little puddle lights on the bottom. So you can see I need to clean these up a little bit. But these were cracked, so I popped them out. They're really not too bad to pop out. You can see the little turn signal indicator there. But in order to pop these out, you just take these little clips off all the way around, and this pops out. You unplug it and you're good to go. So I've got some replacement mirrors underneath here, and I'll list all this stuff that I'm using in the descriptions. Obviously I bought the handles black in a smooth finish. These are more of like a textured finish, and to me this is just a good way to clean up and make this thing look so much nicer. So I think you guys will really like the look of it once we finish. But during this process, I'm pretty picky. So what I like to do, obviously we need to remove the door panels on the inside. I'm gonna remove the door handles, and then I'm gonna use some tape this up, and I'm gonna paint correct this entire door while we're doing it, because there's gonna be a bunch of crud in behind this. Same thing with the front one and behind the mirrors. There's a bunch of stuff that just sets in there over the years. We're gonna clean all that out. I'm gonna clay bar the door, I'm gonna buff the door, and then we'll put the new handles back in. So what I think I'll do, guys, is I will time lapse me popping the door panels off. You see me do that when I put the speakers in. These poor door panels have been on and off a couple times. Another thing you might notice is I did get the windows tinted. 5% in the back, 5% in the front. Now 5 is over the 20 that was in the back originally. I chose not to tint the windshield on this one, and just because I've got a couple cracks here, I think eventually I'll get this replaced, and when I do, I'll have that tinted like normal, like you guys see on the Yukon out there. I generally tint the entire front windshield at 35%. But let's get started. We'll set you guys up on that tripod and get these door panels out of the way. At this point, we got all the handles off, right? So we need to pull this down, and then you should be able to see the 10 millimeters that hold the door handle on. So there's should be 3 total. You've got 1 back here in this corner on the back, you got 1 at the bottom, and you've got 1 over here. Now the 2 here will be able to reach fine with my little impact here. But the 1 up here in the corner, I'm gonna use a ratcheting wrench to get up there and get it, because without rolling the window down, we really don't have a lot of access to it. You can just see it's a 10 millimeter. And so I need to go grab a ratcheting wrench. We'll reach up in there and get that last one. They're generally not very tight. And if you drop them in the door, guys, you have plenty of access to get them. I generally drop at least one out of the group of the entire door. I'm gonna set this back up, kinda. Let's move to the other side since it's loose. Let's see if we can get this thing out of here. Well, it's been in there for a minute. There we go. So we're going to pull this out. There's a little clip here that we're going to slide. Well, slide that up and then pull this out. That's all there is on the ones with no locks. Not as bad. But you can see all that grungy mess that we've got in there. Let's move on to the front one here. Now, similar to the back one, the front one has 3 also. So we need to get this out of the way because we have access to one from this. And then the other 2, guys, you really, if you could roll the window down, I mean, we can hook it back up, but I'm gonna reach in there with my 10 and I'll be able to get it off with a 10. You're kind of doing it by feel, you know what I mean? Still 3 of them that hold it on. And I may end up just hooking the window up to make it a little easier on me, but depends on how much you want to fight. If you're fine with, you know, kind of fighting it a little bit, you can do this method. Like I'm on one of them right now. And like I said, they're not very tight. Once you initially get them loose, you can generally spin them off by hand. But like I said, I gotta get something to, like a pick. I don't think I'm gonna be able to take that out by hand. So I've got this first one. You can imagine going out to a salvage yard. It's, if you guys can find a set that are painted in the salvage yard, that makes life a little bit easier because you can, you know, kind of tear stuff up. Give myself a little more room here. This front one, I can get from here. Actually, I got the front one, the bottom one, I can see it from here, so I might be able to sneak in and grab it with my impact, actually. I'm gonna have to get a little bit more of an extension, but let's see if we can get that off. There we go. So now you can see the one of them there. I'm gonna go get another extension for that. That one's gonna fall in the door. Told you, I generally drop at least one. And then we'll go get an extension and get that last one out. Let's try again here now that we can reach it. That's the third one. Let's go over here because this one's a little bit different. On the newer trucks, they only put locks on one side. And so you only have to fight this with one of them, but there will be a lock on this one, which makes it a little more cumbersome to get out. We're doing that same thing. We're swinging that plastic out of the way. You can see I got the lock. The lock one's red. And we do have to swap this lock over to the new handle. because it doesn't come obviously keyed with what you need, even if it did come with one. But all you have to do that is there's one little clip here. That's all there is. And make sure that your lock faces the same way, so it's facing the big part of the handle. We'll just pull this little pin out, or this little clip, and it literally comes right out. We put it in the new one. Since we're over here, we'll go ahead and do the mirror. You're gonna need your wiring. Should be 2 wires on the newer trucks. Now look, if you're trying to put these on an older truck, the turn signal mirrors, it will not work. This is a, will only work on a 2003 and up, because they are pre-wired for that. So if you buy these power mirrors, it's not going to be plug and play on a 99 to 02. They're just 3 10mm that hold this thing in place. Generally, we can take our, see if we can get our clips out here. Get the tape off of them anyway. So get our 3 10mm. Sometimes you might want to put your hand on the other side and you take the last one out just to make sure it doesn't fall. Like that one started to come out a little bit, but there is a plastic clip inside here that's supposed to keep it in place. We just thread it out. Got the old one out. All right, guys, so we've got all the stuff. I'm gonna do the other side off camera. So we got all the stuff out that we need. Now we need to go ahead and tape up. The main areas that I wanna tape are like this, because I don't wanna be buffing on this plastic or this rubber around the window. So I'm gonna tape that off, and maybe even put some tape here on this guy, and then shut the door. That way we can clean and not worry about kind of what we're getting into. So as you can see, I taped all of this up, got all the handles off, obviously, on the other side too. But I taped all this area up because I don't want to get any kind of buffing compound on those rubber pieces. I also taped up that rubber piece that's there. That'll just kind of help keep some of the dust out of the jams. But at this point, you can see the junk that's been setting here for, you know, who knows how many years. And we're just gonna clean this area off. This stuff like this, a lot of people wouldn't do. They just slap the new mirrors on. So we wanna get this clean so it's not like falling into our buffing area. And I probably need to tape off, actually I'm going to tape off this right here, this front piece of trim, because I'm gonna be buffing up this rail. So we got that clean. And you'll probably see me clean a couple times, because I'll probably time lapse most of the buffing process. Man, that paint looks good there. Same thing goes for this right here though. I want to get this area clean, where the handle, look at that, from years of junk, washing, not washing. This is a great time to clean that. And like I said, I'll be going over it a couple times, because this will be completely full of dust when I finish. And I'm actually just using Windex. Normally I would use some soapy water, but Windex won't hurt anything. We're gonna be buffing on it. Now it doesn't do real great on wax. A lot of times it'll strip your wax down, but this thing doesn't have a bit of wax on it right now at this point anyway, so that's what we're hoping to fix. This handle kind of rode weird and kind of marred up the paint in that crack there, but it doesn't look like this thing's been painted on ever, which is good. Okay, I'm gonna tape that front windshield piece, clean the other side, and then we will get to buffing. So before we actually buff, I don't know why I said that, we're gonna start with some clay bar. Now, I have used some chemical strip, like some Iron X on that other side to get a majority of that rail dust, or the rust from that rotor. I told you guys that it locked up by the previous owner and they just drove it. So I've done that side as far as like chemically, but I haven't done it really with the clay bar. So that's what we're gonna do here. And there's not a ton on this side, honestly. But I'm gonna hit the cab, the whole cab. I'm not gonna do the top, but I am gonna do like these areas here. Actually, that's not Mother's in that I'm using that bottle because the other bottle that I normally keep my quick detailer in had a hole in it for some reason. So I emptied it out into that. But this is just, you can use any kind of clay. There's several different brands out there on the market. This is going to be a time-consuming process, that's for sure. This area, they tried to glue the emblem back on, so this area right here is really rough. This up here though is not bad at all. I'm not getting any kind of drag. Clay bar is still looking pretty clean. Okay, so I got a lot to do, guys. I'm gonna time lapse, like I said, a majority of this, and then we'll talk about when I go to the buffing process, because I've got to do all of this door, that door, of course the other side. And I haven't messed with the tailgate. You notice I didn't tape the tailgate or take anything off that yet because it looks like it's gonna rain and my tailgate's actually outside. So I didn't see any point in doing that yet. I may have to flip it around once I get done with this. But we're gonna time lapse this whole clay bar process. So now comes the fun stuff. It's taken me quite a while to do clay bar because that other side, that passenger side where that brake, guys, it felt like sandpapers, but we've got it all off. And at this point, we're gonna take the buffer. I've got a microfiber pad. I'll list all this stuff below. But I got a microfiber pad. I've got a denture brush. That's what I use to clean it out between passes. And then I've got some M105 from Meguiar's. I'm just about out of that. I'm hoping I have enough to do this, but I probably won't show you guys like up here around the window frames, but I'll probably time lapse a majority of this. We're gonna go over it with M105, kind of see what it looks like. It may take a couple passes. I think there's some scratches and marring that's gonna come out, but the main thing is just to clean up the paint before we put the handles back in. And for a couple reasons, like I said, I wanted to get all this junk out of here before we put the handle in, but I don't want to get the buffer into that new paint. It's relatively new, it's about a week old. And so I don't want to run the risk of, I could tape along it, but to me, this is an easier method since I've got them out. Let's just go ahead and paint correct this. Now this area right here, I don't know about that. Like I said, somebody tried to put some glue on. None of my adhesive remover will knock this down. I've got most of it off, but I don't want to get too aggressive here with the buffer because of this angle. So we'll just kind of see. I'm not gonna get crazy there. I think this will eventually, I just hit it a couple times each week and it'll eventually peel off, I believe. But let's get started. Like I said, I'm not gonna show you guys I'm gonna time lapse it, but I'm not gonna stop and talk about it until we go to our next step. At this point, we're finished with the M105 and the microfiber, so I've switched to a foam pad, and we're gonna go to some M205. This just cleans up any hazing. I wasn't able to get a lot of this. Like I said, I didn't want to get real greedy there, but at this point, we're gonna go back over. I actually went over this twice with the 105, and you can see all the dust. The cool thing about the 205 is not only will it take out some of the hazing that the 105 made, but it also will clean off any excess that you may have missed. So, and it goes on way easier. It's more of a buttery than chalky. So we're gonna go to that now, and we'll see how good it looks once we're finished up. So at this point, guys, it's been, I don't know, 3 hours probably. And here's why. I went over this a couple times trying to get out some imperfections that were in it, and just look at how much better it looks. It had a lot of staining. I didn't do the bed, and so you can really see how dull the bed looks in comparison. This is, look at my reflection there. You can't even see it really. And then you can see it here. Big difference. Anyway, I decided to do, so I did all the cab. I did the front fenders, I did the hood, and I really wasn't planning on doing the hood and the front fenders, but I thought, man, since I've got this out, I might as well do it. And I'm really to the point where I don't think I'm probably gonna do the bed today, but I'm gonna throw some just wax on it real quick. It's just some, I don't even know what it is, NXT, it's what I've got here, and it seems to do okay for about 6 months. It's not my preference, but to be honest with you, I want to do a little more paint correction before I put like a sealant or anything on it. I would love to do a some kind of ceramic coating, especially since I drive this, but I don't know how in depth I'm going to get, guys. It's got a lot of, you know, scratches here and there that just aren't going to come out. I did get quite a few of them out, but either way, I won't show you guys that. I'm just going to throw that on real quick. It's just kind of a wipe on, wipe off type deal. And once I get that wiped off, then we will start going together with the new handles. Now, I haven't messed with the tailgate yet because I didn't clay bar it. I think I'm gonna see if I can get my son out here to clay bar this, and maybe I'll just show you guys the installation of the handle itself. But let's, the next thing you're gonna see is us going together at least with the back handles, and then I will show you the assembly of these mirrors because I do need to clean those up off camera a little bit. And yeah, so we're getting there. At this point, we're ready to put the new door handles in, and they are labeled. So RL, so for rear left, right rear, front left, front right, I think is how they're labeled. But how we need to do this is we need to put this in first. So we'll thread it in. Maybe it's a tight fit here. There we go, and then swing this down to where it clamps on the handle. Now, I don't like to put these in with an impact. So what I'm going to do is we're going to grab our the three nuts that go on here, and we're going to start them just by hand while we're pressing this in. Now, it doesn't have a lot of movement. These actually fit pretty decent for aftermarket. They are not GM pieces. Sometimes you'll get them, they don't fit real great. And so I'm going to tighten these down by hand with my ratcheting wrench on one side, and then on the other side I'll use just a 1/4 inch drive. Of course, my phone rings during the middle of this. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and tighten these up. I wanna make sure that it's as centered as it can be, because it does have a little movement. And we're not wanting to get these real tight, because you will snap them. It's very easy to do. They're just plastic. That's why I don't like to put them back in with an impact. And to be real honest with you, I probably shouldn't have taken them out with an impact, because if you get too crazy, it'll break loose from the plastic and it'll start to spin. So we've got this guy put in here. And I really wish we had this much room in the front one, but oh well. And I don't even know what to tell you guys on torque specs. Maybe inch pounds, maybe like 40 if I had to put a number on it. I'm just getting it tight with like 2 fingers, so I'm tightening it like this. But at this point, we'll try to close it here and see what we get. So before we put the door panel on, let's test it. Looks pretty good.
Not a perfect fit, but the color match is pretty nice. I like it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, do you think this is a better look? I don't see why you wouldn't. Okay, I won't show you guys me putting the panel back on because it's the same procedure that you guys saw in the speaker video. So let's, we'll get that back on and then we'll move to the front one, because this one up here, a little bit different because of the lock. So like I said, for this one, we need to pull out this little clip. And so I generally just use a screwdriver. And we just pop this clip out and around. It's kind of a pain. Generally, you can pry up and then the lock will release, but there we go. So I got it pried up and then you can pull the lock out. Now, if your new one doesn't have a clip, let's go see. Oh, it does, so we don't have to worry about it. But we need to make sure that it goes back in the same way the other one came out, which, remember, oh, this was facing, the long part was facing the long part of the handle, so that's the way it needs to go in. And if you don't have a clip, then you need to obviously bring your clip over from the other one. But then you can pull on it to make sure that it's in there. I like that. Seems to be, oh, there we go. I was gonna say it had some, there was a little bit of a gap here. Okay, on to putting it in. Same basic hookup here. So we're gonna pull the lock first, push it through, and swing our little clip in. And then we need to find our door rod, wherever it went to. A lot of times they fall back in the door. Where'd you go? Oh. And we need to put it in just like we did the one on the back. So we're gonna thread it through. And then swing our little plastic keeper in place. And if you open it a little bit, that makes it easier to get it underneath the door. And so same situation at this point. We'll grab the 3 nuts that hold it in place. It might help to have a magnet on this one, we'll see. If we can get this in here without dropping it. I did. There's one. This bottom one may be a little tougher. I'll start it. Got it on there. The last one is a pretty good reach. Got it. Now I'm going to look at it and see if we're centered. That looks good. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of movement in it, but we'll lock this one down and then we'll move on to the mirror, because obviously we don't want to put the door handle on, or sorry, the door panel on till we get the mirror in place. And I need to set it out and show you guys what we need to do as far as assembling it first. Let's make sure this shuts and opens first. Looks good. Perfect. Let's get the mirrors. So for cleaning up, I'm going to clean this mirror up. We need to pull this little light out. And I'm going to set it to the side just like this, because that's the way it needs to plug back in. I'm also going to clean this up a little bit. I'm gonna take some time and clean all of this junk out to make it look a lot nicer. Obviously these have been sitting on my shelf for a while. We'll clean this up real quick, and then we'll worry about putting the pieces that we need to put together. This guy right here is just gonna snap in, kind of the same situation here, but the wiring is a little different, but you'll see that after I get it cleaned up. I got it cleaned up a little bit, not the greatest, but so we're gonna snap this. This literally just snaps right in place. And if you're careful, you can pull them off without breaking them, and that's what I did. It's easier if you have the mirror out because you can pry on the clips that actually hold it up. So just be careful. A lot of these some of these come with two-sided tape. But that part's in. Now let's go grab the mirror. I'm gonna put some sort of piece of, there we go. I don't want to scratch my new paint. Let's go grab the mirror and see how it's gonna fit. You can see the original one was like the self-dimming. So it's got a 4-plug hookup. I wasn't gonna spend 150 bucks or whatever it is for a replacement one that had that. So what I chose to do is just go with the power with the turn signal. And I'll list this down there, but look, you can see it's got a 4-plug hookup on it, and that makes life real simple because it's plug and play. The 2 wires that you need are in there, and so at this point, the only 2 things we need to hook up are these 2 guys here, and that goes to your defrost. Not wanting to stay on there. I don't know how often I'll use defrost anyway. Yeah, these connections suck. I have to go get a pair of pliers and bend those a little bit. Not on the mirror, but on this guy here. Crimp them down to where they grab a little better, I think is what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna bend those just a bit. See if that's a better hookup. There we go. I'm gonna stay now. Just gonna look at this one. It's not much different. They just, and now here's, you're gonna have to route your wire somewhere. I'm just gonna put it back behind, and then we're gonna hope here, guys, we can just snap this guy into place. Looks like it's in there. Try to pull on it, see. I think we're in. It just literally snaps in the middle. Not a whole lot to it. These little clips right here snap around that ring in the middle. So I think we're good. I guess we'll know if I drive down the road and it falls out, huh? Okay, let's put this thing up in the truck. Thread our wire through. I didn't put the light on the bottom yet because I haven't cleaned it yet. So we'll push our wire through, and then there, like I said, there's a little snap in there that holds it in place so it doesn't completely fall off. And now we'll come into the inside and put our 3 10mm back in place. Similar situation here, guys. Don't tighten these down with the impact. Just run them down by hand. I'm just going to make sure that they look okay on the outside, make sure it's not hung up on anything. Perfect. Okay, let's cinch these down. Now the cool thing about this is this literally goes right back in the same spot that your old one did. So as far as hooking everything up, not a whole lot to it, guys. We can get our piece of plastic to stay on here. We will put our door panel back in place and give it a test. Make sure that it all works. When you're plugging these in, there is no, it will only plug in one way. So as far as your wiring, you don't have to worry about anything there. Now I've got the panel back on. I don't know where the key's at. Let's test and see if the mirror works at least. Up, down. Woo! Okay, so that works. Now I want to see if the turn signal works, so I need to find my keys. Let me find my keys real quick and we'll try it. All right, found my keys. Let's try. Oh, ho, ho. No programming required, guys. It just works. That is perfect. And if you wanted to go with a, let's say that you had, you found one that's power folding. If you buy the switch, you can use power folding too. No programming of the BCM. That's one cool thing. You know, a lot of this stuff is body control module controlled, but if you buy certain parts, it's not. So as far as like adding power windows or whatnot, you would have to get it programmed. But for like fog lights and these mirrors, none of that's required. Now, once we get this guy hooked up in the bottom, once I get it cleaned up and hooked up, which I'll probably do last, we should have puddle lights when we come up and unlock as well. I got this cleaned up, and holy cow are those tight. You gotta unscrew these, they're little Phillips. The downside, I mean, I bought some LEDs for it, but the downside is that we're gonna have to plug it in because we won't know if we've got the LED the right way. I don't even know that I can get that one out, guys. Holy cow. I'm gonna have to go get a different screwdriver. That thing is in there. It's like kind of rusted. Let me go grab another screwdriver. I got another screwdriver, but yeah, all right. Man, that's tough. So we need to grab, got this set of interior LEDs that I bought for this truck. Need to figure out what goes where here. I feel like just one of these guys. Holy cow, those are in there. I don't want those falling out. So I'm hoping, tell you what, let's do. Let's go over to the truck here. And let's see if we plug it in, what happens. Where are my keys? Oh, they're in the truck. Uh-oh. I'm wondering if I can't test them yet because the locks aren't all hooked up. I don't have the other door handles hooked up. So we may have to go, we'll go do the other door handles real quick. I won't show you guys that, and then we'll come back and see if this works. Now we've got it plugged in to test. All the doors are hooked up, and check it out. So now we have puddle lights when we unlock the door with the LED. So I'm gonna take this back apart. We'll put it back together and take it apart and then put it together. That's what essentially I have to do. I have to unplug it here, put the screws back in it, and we should be good to go. Look at that. Oh, dadgummit. Of course it goes out. I'm trying to show you guys. How cool is that? So we not only got the puddle lights, but we've got turn signals in our mirrors now. So, all right guys, so now I think at this point I'm gonna go whip the other side out real quick, and then, oh man, I've been working on this all day. We're going on about 8 hours now, just because, mainly because of the buffing, you know, that I did, but we still have to buff the tailgate. Now my son was good enough to come out here. I don't know if you guys saw him in the background earlier, but he clay barred the bed and the tailgate twice. So we should be good. I don't know if I'm gonna, I probably won't show you guys any more buffing, but I will show you how the tailgate assembly goes together. Let's get these out. Like I said, I'm not gonna show you guys the buffing, but these are 13 millimeters and we need to take all 3 of these out. Now we can pull the handle out. Pull the little bezel out first. There's just 2 clips at the top. And then we need to swing, just like we did the door handles. There's these 2 little clips that hold this in place. Pull those out. And get this out of place. All right, guys, I'm going to. Holy cow! Yeah, I'm going to buff this tailgate, and then we will get the new one and put it in place. So let's see if we can get this thing hooked up. Got the tailgate all finished. This is extremely tight work area here. Maybe it'd be better if we did it like this. It is. All right. Swing these in place. Holy cow, that's a tight fit, guys. All right, now we need to get this guy on, because if you bolt this down, you will never get it in place. So we can go ahead, get it the bottom end first, and then we need to snap the top end. Notice that it's still loose, right? We need to put our bolts back in. Before I snug it down, I want to make sure that everything's lined up the way I want it. Looks like it is. I think we can go ahead and bolt it down. Let's make sure it works. Perfect. That looks really, really nice. This whole thing looks so much better. I can go ahead and take my tape off even. Oh, guys. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll try to get it all cleaned up. It's really dusty right now from me buffing on it. And then we'll step back, and take a look at the finished product. I think you guys are gonna like it. So with the window tint and all the new painted handles, I think this looks nice. So wouldn't you know, it'd start to rain right when I want to show you guys what this thing looks like. Now, I did not get a chance to really clean it up the way I wanted to. I did wipe the dust off of it for the most part, but then of course it started to rain and messed that all up. But either way, I think it looks a lot better. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Definitely a lot cleaner look. So we got the mirror caps, well, actually whole new mirrors, but the mirror caps painted to match. The door handles painted to match. Of course, the tailgate handle, I'll go around there in a second. We got the windows tinted since you guys have seen it last. Definitely cleaning up to look like a really good truck. And guys, I spent about 10 hours at this point on this truck. I did not get a chance to buff the bed, but I did get the tailgate. Tailgate handle looks way better, by the way. And I didn't get the bed. So the tailgate I got, and then from the cab forward, I didn't do the top either. I've got a little bit of clear breaking up there, so I'm not really sure what I want to do, if I'm going to have it resprayed or if I'm going to just live with it. But yeah, we got the puddle lights in now. Let me see if I can unlock it. Maybe it'll light up. Definitely looking good. Of course, the turn signals in the mirrors that we did not have before. Really cool deal. So if you go, I got these from a salvage yard quite a while back. Actually, when I had my red dually is when I bought these. So these have been sitting on the shelf for a while. These were all peeling and nasty looking, so I took them off, took them to my painter, and then like I said, you guys saw the old glass for this side, but everything works. So as far as like the movement up and down, that works. And then we got our blinker now, which is cool. So some pretty cool updates in my opinion. Makes it look, like I said, a lot cleaner with the window tint, the new headlights, the new tail lights. It's coming around, guys. This is a great daily driver. It's been doing great. Everything works on it. Pretty impressed, and it's starting to look the part too. And you guys know what's next on this. I know that several of you have said slam it. Well, it's gonna get lowered. Not sure how soon that video will come on. I really want to get that red truck out of the way so I can be daily driving it while we do the drop on this truck. But yes, this truck will be getting dropped, so guys, stay tuned to see that happen. Got a few other little things that I want to do on the interior mostly, and then we will probably get to the drop. But I don't know, maybe we get the red truck finished and we can knock it out. Either way, guys, if you are enjoying this stuff, please, like always, go down there and smash that thumbs up button. If you are not subscribed, guys, go down there, hit the subscribe button. Of course, ring the bell icon. That notifies you every single time we drop a new video, and stay tuned to see what we work on next.